Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to the Planes, Trains, and Comic Books channel. My name's Matt, and today we're going to review Spawn Universe number 1. Before we get into that, if you guys wouldn't mind sharing, subscribing, all that stuff, it really helps me out. Comment down below. Let me know what you guys think of Spawn Universe. Did you like it? Did you understand what was going on? With that being said, let's get straight into it. All right, so we got the cover here, Spawn Universe number 1. We see she Spawn on the cover, looking all badass with all these cool guns and shit. I will say the format of this book was there's one main story that's kind of continuing from Spawn 318, and then there's 3 little kind of one-shot vignettes about Gunslinger Spawn, She Spawn, and Medieval Spawn. I'll probably just touch on those a little bit so you can see the art and stuff, but those ones had different artists for each one. So, and they're setting up the 3 other books that are coming. So let's dig into this book. I'm a new Spawn reader. This is the second issue I've ever read of any kind of Spawn, so bear with me if I don't understand everything. But I think I got it down. I had to read this issue a couple times. I enjoyed it though. There's a lot of stuff going on from past. I mean, this is like 300 plus issues, so, and I haven't read any of them. So, but yeah, if you want to jump on, this is kind of a good spot, like they say. But it does just throw you in where Spawn 318 left off. So, it just says 2 weeks ago. So this is just after Spawn 318 or whatever. But we see this guy named Kogliostro. He's an old man. He's being approached by what I guess are the legions of heaven and hell, who are now trapped on Earth. They can't get out because these things called dead zones have all been sealed, and the only one who's been able to open them recently was Spawn. Spawn accidentally did and brought Gunslinger Spawn, I believe, into his normal Spawn world. So, but that was an accident. He didn't know how he did that, so that's like the whole problem. So right away, Kogliostro, he is approached by some of these bad guys. I believe this bad guy's name is Jericho. He is working for like a kind of big bad that comes about later on. But I don't know if he works for heaven or hell. I assume hell just because he's looks bad. I don't know. He looks mean. So they kind of tell him, "Oh, we figured out your secret, old man. Like you've been able to avoid us and stuff, but now we know how to get you." And they attack the man's cat. The cat attacks them first, actually, but they just shoot the cat. And they say like, "Hey, and this is how we know how where your power comes from. It's from this thing that was inside of your cat. Now I'm gonna break this, and now you're ours." So they capture Cogliostro for information. I'm gonna try to break this down as like simple as possible. So then, in the meantime, now 2 weeks after Cogliostro got kidnapped, Spawn has been going around beating the fuck out of the minions of heaven and hell because they, having now been trapped on Earth, they all have to kind of assimilate to blend in because they can't just walk around with their hell faces and angel wings and all that shit. So these normal looking people that Spawn is beating up apparently are legions of hell. That's what he says, at least. So he's beating up all these people because initially these guys were attacking a woman and she has a briefcase that had confidential papers. They're just papers that say confidential. So he takes that information and he goes to his lair with Mark. And so we see Mark back here at Spawn's sanctuary. They say, okay, well, actually, this top secret stuff just kind of leads back to the island that you fought Omega Spawn at. And we're getting readings from there, so it's not dead completely. So something else is going on there. And so Spawn is like, okay, well, let me get my old buddy, because I'm not full strength. He's got to get his old buddy Cygor. He is like, okay, we're gonna attack the island, and then we'll see how far we can get, see what's going on. So right away, they get ready, and Cygor is all pumped up. Spawn's all pumped up. They attack like without even really forming a plan. They're just like, we don't even know what's going on this island. We're just gonna like do it. And so they attack, and at first it's cool, but then someone comes out and paralyzes Cygor and Spawn with some kind of power. We don't even know what it is, but it's paralysis, and he's able to fully tame Cygor and control him. And we get a little explanation of who this guy is. Basically, he was some guy that came to work for Omega Spawn, who was originally on this island until Spawn came and kicked some ass. So this guy came to the island and was like, oh shit, they just beat Omega Spawn. So he just kind of filled that power vacuum. We find out he's working with Jericho here because they're like, we think you can get all the different gangs and factions together that are trapped on Earth. So there's the vampires, there's the angel and warrior clans, and they like, if we think that you will be able to put us all like together under one, leader, and we will be able to find the dead zones and open them and finally take the seat of hell. And that's, everybody wants to become king of hell. That's pretty much what Jericho and these other angels and warriors and vampires and shit, they all want to become the king of hell and take that seat of the empty throne. So then Jericho and the big bad guy here take Spawn to the basement or whatever, and we see he actually has Kogliostro and Gunslinger Spawn already here. So Gunslinger Spawn was actually brought into this time by Spawn unknowingly. He doesn't know how he did it, but he brought him here on accident through the dead zones, and he doesn't know how he did that, but they think he does. So they're trying to get that information out of him, and that's why they bring him down here so they can torture him to figure out how he opened the dead zone. This is the panel where we see what the name of the bad guy is here. I believe they call him the Disruptor. I believe that that's what the bad guy's name is. So that's why he's able to disrupt, I guess, and paralyze Spawn and Cygor. So Spawn and Gunslinger Spawn are talking to Kogliostro here, and it seems like Gunslinger Spawn and Kogliostro have a past along with Spawn and Kogliostro, and they don't like him. I don't know what's happened in the past, but they don't like him a lot. And Kogliostro is like, don't worry, I'm going to tell you everything you want to know. But first, I have to finish my puzzle. And what the fuck does that mean? And he starts freaking out. And basically, he gets the guards to let him loose because he's freaking out so bad. And while he does that, he actually steals a piece or a bullet from the gunslinger. He kind of pushes the gunslinger out of the way and is able to steal a bullet from, I guess, his belt. And then he's kicked down into a pit that he was held in for the last 2 weeks until Spawn just came here. So they weren't able to get anything out of Kogliostro, apparently. So they kick him down there. And then Spawn and Gunslinger Spawn are like, hey, we got to get out of here too. We got to do something. And Gunslinger Spawn's like, well, I'm not listening to you because you're the idiot that brought me here and don't even know how you brought me here. So I'm going to freak out just like Kogliostro. But he ends up getting electrocuted by the wristbands or whatever they're holding him by. And then Spawn actually uses that distraction to, as one of the guards gets a little too close to Gunslinger Spawn, his cape, it comes alive, it grabs or stabs. I'm not sure. It looks like it maybe kills him. It says snick, snick, snick. So it seems like it actually goes through the dude's head and shit. So it looks like it kills the guy, and they're able to break free and go on like a rampage escaping. And then they end up jumping through like a portal to get out of there. They're miles away now. They both got out of there free. Then we cut to Kogliostro, and he's completing his puzzle. So this one I had to read a bit because I wasn't exactly sure what's going on. And I'm not going to spoil exactly what happens at the end of this because it's like the big thing, But he came to this island specifically. Like he wanted to get captured at the beginning so that he would get taken to this island and specifically thrown into this pit where he could use this rock that's from this island and the stolen bullet that he just got from Gunslinger Spawn. With those things, he can finish his like spells because we find out he's like some kind of mage, like a power mage or something from back in the day. He's been trying to get these powers and take power from hell spawns his whole life, and he's never really been able to do it. He's finally been able to take the power that he wants, and how he does that is so he raises the Omega Spawn from the future, the Plague Spawn from the past, and then he takes the bullet from Gunslinger Spawn, who's like from the present, and he uses all of those three things, and he completes the spell. And I don't want to spoil what happens when he completes the spell, So we'll leave it at that. But it's the beginning of this whole Spawn universe story arc, and it's pretty cool. I really like that a lot. So we'll leave it at that, and then we'll get to the later little vignettes real quick, and we'll kind of show you those. The first vignette's called Medieval, and of course it's medieval Spawn, and we just see medieval Spawn. I'm not exactly sure if this is him having come back from 318, because if you remember at the end of 318, or the beginning, I guess, of 318, he was with Spawn and then he left. So I don't know if this is him after he came back and this is what happened, but we see he was fighting a bunch of heretic mages with his soldiers, and when he got back, all of them were dead. And then he ends up fighting his dragon. Pretty epic fight. We don't really find out too much in these little vignettes. We see there's a heretic mage here. That's pretty much this one. There's just a big epic fight. Then we get she Spawn. She has a child that she left with her mother to take care of, and the child actually thinks that she's the aunt. So the mother's kind of bitter about it, but she was told by Spawn basically in 318, look, these people will stand at nothing to murder people to get to you. So if you got people that are, you feel special towards, you need to leave them. You need to hide them and protect them, and they can't be anywhere near you, or no one can know about them, or else they will get murdered. And so basically she Spawn takes care of business in this one. She goes to see her mom and daughter one last time before she has to leave them. And then we get the gunslinger. This one had the least story and action in it. It just literally is like, I don't know what time period this is. Gunslinger Spawn has been shot with a bunch of arrows, and he's been dead for a very long time, like through the seasons. His body has been here. And then it said, like, when he finally gets up and like recovers, basically we see he got his face cut off, and because of that, and like everybody else he was with as well got their faces cut off. I mean, it's been a year. Those faces just sat there. And then we find out that basically like wolves guarded this whole area from scavengers so that shit wouldn't happen to him. So apparently he can control wolves, which is pretty cool. But yeah, like basically his face got cut off. He is very pissed off of who did that to him. And that's pretty much what we get. So yeah, I mean, I thought this issue was pretty fun. It's pretty interesting. I did think it was gonna be like more of its own thing, kind of like where you don't need to read past issues to kind of set this up. This one definitely had a lot left over from 318 that, not that you needed to know it, but it definitely helped. And then I had to read this one a couple times just to fully grasp exactly like who everybody was. There was just a lot going on, and a lot of it is in those narrations. And if you're not careful and you're just kind of breezing through it, you're like, whoa, what did I just read? Like wait, it was like it did like 10 years of history in like 2 squares or something, so you gotta like really catch what he's doing or what they're trying to say, and pay attention. So I'm gonna give this a 4, not necessarily because like the story was at a 4 level, because I think the story is more like a 3. Not because it was bad or anything, just because there was a lot going on. I felt a little bit overwhelmed, but I had a lot of fun. I was able to follow it. I just kind of had to take a little bit of notes. And this is setting up like this whole big epic story, which I actually felt was a whole big epic story that I was excited for by the end of the issue. So that goes for a lot, because I haven't read any Spawn. So having read this and only 318 and this, I was like, by the end of this issue, I was like, fuck yeah, I want to read all these things. Also, the art was fucking fantastic in this book. So that's definitely, the image signature from the 90s is the story might not be 100% on point, but that fucking art is definitely on point. So let me know what you guys thought down below. Did you guys read this? What did you guys think? Were you able to follow it if you ever haven't read Spawn? Yeah, because I was able to follow it, but I definitely had to take some notes, and I had to read sections at least twice. So there was a couple sections I had to go back to where I'm like, let me read all these narration boxes again. So, and with that, we'll see you on the next one.